Yo guys, it's Jason. I'm here with some more deck profiles. Today I got two because of Master Duel has a new selection pack. I've gotten to play with these decks a little bit more meta wise, so I kind of know how they play a little bit better now. Um Sorry about that in the background. There's some construction going on. Um I've revised both the decks a little bit since the last time I showed you. Traptrix and Dark Worlds, they're not completely of the structure decks anymore. Well, I think the Dark Worlds are still, but I'm not entirely sure on that. Don't quote me on that. But the Traptrix, I finally added some of my cards to it, not the structure deck cards. So I'm going to show you what I've been playing, what I've been messing around with, fooling around with, and so this Dark World deck isn't as different. So I'm gonna start with the Traptrix deck. Now the extra deck for the Traptrix deck's the same. So if you want to know what my extra deck for that is, just check out the last video, the Traptrix video. I already go over the extra deck, and that hasn't really changed much. It's really the main deck that's changed. So let's just go ahead and start out with it. Got three Mantis, very good card. Searches your others. Probably the best card now. And its effect, it lets you send a card from your trap card. It lets you send a trap card from your spell and trap card zone to your hand, and then replace it with either the same or any spell or trap card. And that's really good in the sense that if you have Sarah on the field and you need to activate a monster effect, her effect counts, even though you didn't really do anything. You just picked up a trap and set it down again. So that's cool. There's three Myrmelio, searches out traps. Three Diania, gets Traptrix from the grave. And then the change comes with I took out Jin Lisa in favor of another Vesquillo. I still don't like seeing three Vesquillo in your hand turn one because I mean you can't really do much with it unless you have a trap, and if you don't have a trap, which is possible with this deck, it's very disappointing, but possible. Um, it's good to just run two because you don't want to see more than two opening hand, or else you're not having a good day. But her effect is still pretty good to special summon itself. It just sends a trap to the grave, which isn't as bad as banishing a trap, which I've learned through playing the deck is banishing the traps or how you don't get them back. So yeah, you don't want to really. Jin Lisa wasn't very good because she would banish the traps after, and yeah, most of the time I wasn't using her, so might as well just take her out. Um, I added one Nepenthes because Nepenthes is still a really good card, especially if Sarah on the field. It helps you swarm, which is great. Um, three Pudica searches the field spell when it's a normal summon, and then three Arachnacomp because she just special summons from the hand, which is arguably one of the best ones. And that's pretty much the Traptrix lineup now. Um, Now we move on to the other monsters in the deck that I've added. Artifacts. So we got one Morale Tech, three Scythe. Back in the day, I would totally have run three Morale Tech until it got limited to one from the hat format. But nowadays, actually, one of them is probably too much. You probably just want to run the three Scythe because all Morale Tech does is pop a card. Back in the day, that used to be golden. You just pop one of their cards in their combo and they wouldn't be able to combo off. Not anymore because that's sadly gone in the old days. Just cutting them off from their extra deck entirely is great. And having these to protect your spells and traps, what I mean is, okay, you don't have Solemn Judgment, you don't have a way to stop Harpy's Feather Duster or Lightning Vortex or Lightning Storm, not Lightning Vortex, Lightning Storm. What you could do is set either Scythe or Morale Attack's not too good, but if you set a Scythe and they destroy all your spells and traps, and then they can't special summon from the extra deck, that could just delay the turn until you set up again. So Scythe is guaranteed. Morale Attack's arguable whether or not. I like having Morale Attack just in case I use the scythes or I draw them, and it makes it so Artifact Sanctum's not completely dead. Okay, to the spells, we got one Temple of Kings. Even the errata this is the errata version. Even with the errata, being able to activate one trap without setting it. I mean, well, activating a trap the turn it was set, I should say. Even one of them is really good in this deck. Could get you Sarah's effect off. Could get you swarming. So one Temple of Kings, you don't want to run three because you don't want more than one in your hand in opening. Because if you don't have a trap with it, it's useless. Because we're not running the other the card it summons. Um, Three of the field spell, very good broken card. Thank you, thank you Konami. And then three trap channelizing tune. Again, very good card. Very good. Thank you, Konami. And that's pretty much the spell lineup. That's arguably a lot of spells. Some people just forego the spells and play NFL Fragrance on Master Duel, but I feel the new spells are good enough to keep in the deck. So now we're moving on to traps. The only one of trap I have, Solemn Judgment. I would run more, three, but I only have the one. And I don't know if it's at three in the TCG. I'd have to check the ban list. But if it is, I'd run three. But I only got the one. And yes, it is black letter rare. But yes, Solemn Judgment, like I was talking about before. Three evenly matched. It's a normal trap card that so Sarah's effect will activate if you manage to set this and play it. I mean, they'll be banned. They'll be able to ban. They'll be able to keep two of their cards, but if it's if you if they need a whole board set up, that's good enough. Or they're going for a combo, that's good enough. In the main phase two, I mean, they're gonna combo off in the main phase two. That would be good enough. Very good card to just turn one, turn two. I mean, when they have a giant board, just to go battle phase, end of battle phase, evenly matched chain. You know what I mean? Very good, very broken. Like I said, also normal trap, so good to run at three. That being said, moving on, I added three infinite impermanents because yes, they're also a normal trap. They're a hand trap, and if you set them, they get the added bonus of negating everything in the column. What stinks about this at Master Duel though, to like counter this, they have officially made it so if you play Infinite Permanence and set it, it will highlight the whole column for the rest of the turn to tell people that that column is negated. Before, so many people would just go ahead and activate a card in that column without even thinking about it, or later on in their turn, forgetting that that card was impermed, that column was impermed, they would hit it. It's kind of not fair, but and still in the actual real life game, still a very good broken card. And yeah, seeing as it's a normal trap, it's Sarah effect off Sarah's effect, and it's a hand trap. If you don't want to set it and get the bonus effect, all around good card. Okay, and finally, last but not least, of the non trap holes, we got three Artifact Sanctums, and Artifact Sanctum is a very good card in the sense that it's basically free plus no matter what. If they destroy it, if you activate it, it basically lets you activate Scythe at any time. And yeah, it's a normal trap card, so Sarah's effect again will trigger off of it. Very, very good. Now we're getting into the trap holes. We got, of course, the three Gravedigger's trap holes. Just being able to stop effects in the hand in the graveyard or banished is in this game day and age broken and needed in every deck. That's basically the only trap hole I run three of. And then two floodgate trap holes. That'll stop most combos in their place and just keep a card dead on the field, which is awesome even in today's day and age. Two terrifying trap hole nightmares. Um, this is a really good card in the sense that if your opponent, most people are comboing off special summoning at some point, and if they have at all, if they've special summoned at all that turn, and they have a 2,000 or more attack, monster, you could destroy it. So that's not saying that monster has to be special summoned. It's saying if they special summoned at all this turn and they have a 2000 attack monster, you can activate this. I didn't think of that before. I was just like, this is just a bad nightmare, trap hole nightmare. But terrifying trap hole nightmare is a little different in the sense that it could be used proactively rather than no, it can be used like defensively as well as proactively, especially if you have Rafalzi on the field. Is that- yeah, Rafalzi. If you have Rafalzi on the field, it's very defensive. Can be used from the deck. Very good. Um, one monster from your opponent's graveyard if you have a trap hole in their deck too. Again, that's not going to be great for every deck you play against, but majority of the decks right now, being able to banish a said card from their graveyard any time is pretty good. Especially if they are comboing off. You not only get to destroy a 2000 attack monster, you also get to stop them from further comboing. So yeah, very good broken card. Just be prepared for one of those to go down to banned or limited. I'm not surprised. And then finally a regular Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, because this just is just still really good. The fact that most people are going to special summon a monster and activate its effect is almost like a majority of decks. So I don't think there's a single deck right now that doesn't special summon and activate the monster's effect on summon, or at least like in effect, like afterwards, like okay, activate this monster effect. So either way, very good broken card, still really good. If you never see it, it's perfect for Falsey play. They never expect it, and it kind of that rounds up the deck. It's a little bit more than 40. I forgot what it's like 43, 44 or something. The only reason is because I thought there wasn't enough trap holes in the deck for a Traptrix deck. It's like you need more trap holes, and you're probably wondering where's the Traptrix, the yeah, the Traptrix trap. I've decided that on playing it, it banishes a trap guaranteed, and that's making sure you'll never get that trap back, which is kind of bad with this deck. You don't want to banish all of your traps, especially your trap holes. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile for Traptrix. Not it's not it's kind of really different in the spell and trap department. But I think it's a lot better, especially because of Imperm. All the cards are very good. So now we're gonna get into the Dark World the Dark World revised deck. Of course we got the 3 fusion, very good card. You want to get that on the board as quickly as possible. I used to think you needed 3 of the fusions to make it work, but on playing it in Duel Masters, you only need one of the fusion because it reoccurs itself very easily, and with a bonus of getting to discard a fiend. So very good, very good. You want to get this on the field because it is a free once per turn negate, which is still in this game day and age really good, and it's 3500 attack. You might be like it's 32, but it gets 300 from the field spell, so it's 35. Very strong attack, very big beefy monster. If it's removed from the field, you get to special summon Grapha from the banish zone, which it's going to be banished. I mean, unless you have him in your hand and wanting to pop him again, Grapha is probably going to be banished. So she gets it back from it's recursion. It's great. Of course we got Dugares. He helps you extend. Can't believe I actually had this in my collection. I'm like, dang, where did I get the Dugares? And I was like, I put them away, and like someday this will be worth this effect is really good and will be worth it, and I was right. We got Baguska. Baguska is really good just to get turn 1. If you have to go turn 1, you don't really want to go turn 1 with this deck. Um, But then again, yes, you do, because you want to stop your opponent from comboing off and making a ridiculous board you have to get through. I mean, getting through ridiculous boards aren't that bad if they only got like three negates on the field, omni negates. It's like, I'm going to do six or seven effects this turn, so your three omni negates are going to be nothing. But most mm, meta decks nowadays aren't caring about, they're going to have monsters that are can handle this and stop this from your plays from occurring. So while Dark World isn't super meta in tier one, it's very fun to play. So yes, we got Baguska. Sometimes just making Baguska turn one and passing is enough to be able to play next turn and just win the next turn. Um, Tornado Dragon, it's a generic level four and it pops back row. Anything back row dislike is very good in this deck. It doesn't have anything that can destroy back row is very good. You have a lot of options to do it. Two level four Dark Rebellion XYZ dragons. Again, just a strong level four to go into. Uh, two uh, two yeah, harbingers, hope harbingers. I just had to think there for a minute, brain fart. Um, Hope Harbingers is a rank for two level eights. Not really much else I could do with it from my collection. I got two Hope Harbingers that I could go into, so I got that at least. Then we have I decided to run Mech Knight Crusadia because like there's a lot of XYZ effects in here that are just like once a turn, and he says two plus monster special summon from the extra deck. So you could easily make this with some XYZs you've already used the effects of, or even heck, just a fusion monster if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but if there was a case situation you wanted to get it off the field, then by all means, Crusadia, and find out to finish off the extra deck, or just to add Ignister, Light Dragon, just because it's a generic two level fours and they're really good effect if you want to protect stuff. So again, any kind of level four ranks is good with this deck because you have a lot of level four plays. All right, now we get into the structure deck, the main deck. We got three Gentas. I actually thought about dropping this down to two or even one Genta because like you could search a Genta and like if you open up a one field spell, you're one of these guys is just going to be dead in your hand, especially late game. But what I found is why you want to run three instead of two is because you almost want to guarantee him with the field spell. Because if you're banishing anything, it should be him. If um, let's say mainly because of his effect is so strong, being able to special itself from the extra deck if you have the field spell on the field because it's Dark World, the Dark Gateway or whatever. Or no, if you don't, it doesn't matter. Like I said, if you being able to special summon him from the banish zone period is what makes it worth it. There's multiple ways you can banish monsters in this deck, and if he's banished and you have a Dark World card, you could special summon him. So he's also a Dark World. So I mean, he doesn't have a discard effect, which is very strange out of all the Dark Worlds to keep one around that doesn't have if it's discarded do something. But if it is discarded, it's not the end of the world because if you banish him from the graveyard, you'd be able to get him back. And you're gonna want to banish him with the field spell effect, which is what you use the most. Okay, going on. Three snow. Snow is a very good search. Searches out. What I usually search out is the new graph, not the I guess it's not grapha though. The it's basically the rainbow, the effect rainbow. You want to search out rainbow with snow, and rainbow with when it's discarded, you could search grapha. So that's basically the play. You have to be very careful because Rainbow doesn't special summon with Rafa. Like if Rainbow's in the grave and you want to special summon it, Grapha does not count. But Grapha can special summon with Rainbow, and it's very confusing. But you have to keep that in mind while playing because, like I said, very confusing. Three Brow, good draws. And two Beige, yeah, two Beige, just very strong. I'm playing to Silva. Now, you can't play Silva in Master Duel because they preemptively the only kind of FTK you can do with the deck really isn't an FTK. It's just milling all your opponent's cards turn one. It's possible with this deck, right? Not the setup I'm running. I'm only running Silva just because you need a monster. I could easily use gold, honestly, but I like Silva better because it's level 5. But yeah, in Master Duel you cannot use Silva because they preemptively banned this card because they realized there's a loop with it. And yeah, I mean it's not that strong of a loop. It's just milling your opponent's opening hand, so they just start out with one card. But Konami does not like that. They don't like that kind of gameplay. So of course they're like Master Duel only. The TCG ban list, it's still totally legal, so I'll run two of them. Still a very good card. If you get its other effect off, yes, you get to mill two of their cards. Still a very strong effect in this day and age. Three Grapha. Grapha pops. Also, Grapha is one of your stronger cards. It's tricky because you gotta ban sometimes when he's in your grave and you have the fusion, you gotta banish. Oh, that's another thing you could search with Snow is the fusion because now that we run one of the fusion instead of three, you don't really want to see it. I mean, necessarily, you could search it with Snow. You'll be getting Snow's effect off multiple times with this deck. Let's just when you start playing it, you'll understand what I mean when you start seeing it over and over and over Snow multiple times in one turn because it's not once per turn. So yeah, Grapho very good broken card, very good and broken in this deck. So yeah, you want to run three of him. Then we got three Rainbow, of course, very broken card. It searches Grapha, and that's why I run Silva too. If you've already gone through three of your Grapha and haven't even seen a Rainbow yet, which is very unlikely, you could easily search a Silva off of it, or a Gold, or any of the Lucian if you want to run Lucian. Um, yeah, very good card. Still, the fact that you could pop other Dark World cards to back to your hand for him is a very strong effect. Grapha being able to do that will reoccur multiple times the effects and being able to make your turn last so long that it's not even funny. Like they realized it too. You know what I mean? That's why they limited, they banned Silva. Like he's banned. Like I was surprised too. Like just on pack, pack release, they're like banned. Silva's banned. They didn't even want to give him a chance, which is crazy because he's not banned in the TCG. He's not even touched. All right, moving on to the dangers. Three Mothman. Again, Mothman's basically a Dark World dealings. You want to discard them and then get a free draw and a free discard. Um, the dangers, it's kind of a hit and miss. It sucks if they hit them, but with Mothman, it doesn't. That's what you want, is it to hit. And if you do get a summon off of it, if you do summon Mothman off of it, he's level 4, so you could go into either like a Baguska or something. It's not the end of your turn. And you get a free draw. So again, the dangers are like they're a plus either way. It's a gamble, but it's a plus either way. So three Bigfoot, discarded, he destroys the card, and again 3008 level 8, good stats, good attack. You want to just basically flood the board, get 9,000 attack, which is pretty simple to do, and then like that's it. Just win the game, destroy all the stuff. Um, three Thunderbirds. Thunderbird, when it's discarded, destroys a set card. Um, they can turn around and activate it, but it still gets destroyed, which is nice. So if they're not running that one card, the monster that protects all of your back row, it's very good. If they are, you just want to summon it. It's level 8. It'll get you a free draw, and then you can either link it off or you know what I mean. Go into something. Rank. Well, I don't have any level. I don't have any links that you could go off into, but you could go into Hope Harbinger, use his effect. I mean, get him. Get once all the XE's materials go, you can use his effect, or you could just get rid of him then and go for Crusadia. Either way, it's it's a good it's good being level 8. And finally, to finish the dangerous one, Nessie. I only have one Nessie. I would probably run 3 Nessie if I could. Being able to discard or just special summon any of the dangers from your deck is really good, but I only got the one, so I'll play it still. Very good. Very good card, Nessie. Very good card. And that pretty much finishes up the monster lineup. Moving on to spells, we of course got 3 Gates of the Dark World, basically guaranteeing Genta's effect will get off if you banish Genta with Dark World. Its effect will special summon because you have Gates of the Dark World. Yeah, very good. We got 3 Drag Down to the Grave. Still a very good card. Like I said, information about your opponent's hand, what they're playing, what they have is very good, and being able to just mill one of their cards most of the time something they want to play or only have like a one of in their deck. If they don't Ash Blossom this too, you could just go ahead and discard their Ash Blossom. So they kind of have to Ash Blossom this, even though it's not the best thing to Ash Blossom. We got 3 Dark World Dealings. Again, very good. Draw one, mill one. Um, right now, I have 2 of the fusions, even though I only said one. That's because one of these is supposed to be card destruction. I just don't know where it is. It's somewhere around. I'm looking for it. But card destruction is what you want. Just empty your hand and draw your hand again. I don't know where I misplaced it. It's around somewhere. I have a bunch of them around somewhere. I just gotta look through my collection here. But right now I have one of the fusions to remind me. Um, you only need one of these Dark World Ascensions because you could search it with snow, and not only can you search it with snow, but it reoccurs itself. Like when it's in the grave, say you mill it accidentally, it's not the end of the world because you just mill another fiend card, the one you wanted to hit, and you could get it back from the graveyard. So it reoccurs itself. You're going to use one to fusion summon all 3 of them at some point. So you don't need more than one. Like I said, you can search it. If you have 2, you're gonna just end up having a dead card in your hand essentially, which is what you don't want. That's why I know I have 2 here, but it's this is supposed to be card destruction basically. Pretend this is a card destruction. You only have one of these because yeah, it's a very good card, very broken, but it's not something you want to necessarily see turn one because if you can't use it turn one, you got 3 Dark World Ascensions. It's not that great. If you open 2 monsters too, you don't necessarily want to just mill those 2 monsters and fusion summon. You want to actually have something in your hand that you want to mill so you can negate. Well, it doesn't negate the fusion monster does not negate effects. He turns it into discarding one, which is amazing. But like I said, if you want to do that, you're not. You're basic. This basically is only necessary on one because you can search it. All I said. Um, moving on, Dark World Puppetry. I almost thought about moving this up to 2, mainly because um, being able to banish 3 cards from any grave. I didn't realize it said any grave. I thought it said your grave, but it's any grave. So being able to banish 3 of their cards for a mill is a double plus, especially if you're playing a specific deck who needs their graveyard. Essentially, this card is very good. You might want to side in and run 2. You know what I mean? Just so the fact that anytime they try to go for something, you could just banish it. Like for example, Dark Magician. Like I know one of my friends loves that deck. if you go ahead and have Dark Magician in your grave to Eternal Soul it, I could banish it and change because this is a quick play card too. I did not realize the power of this. You want to run two. It's not just getting cards back from the banish zone, though. If you do accidentally mill it, guess what? You didn't activate it this turn, which means you could banish it and get a free special summon off of, like, say Grapha is banished. You might not necessarily want to do that though, because if your fusion monster's on the field, you want to have Grapha banished so you can special summon it. But like I said, the versatility is in this deck is amazing, and the fact that you can have just the longest turn. I mean, if you had some really good link monsters, I don't have the best link monsters, but let's say you had some really good link monsters. This is a really good combo deck. Really easy, really cheap to pick up, very fun. I love it. I love how much of a turn you can have. Um, and last but not least, one Dark World Archives. I've warmed up to this card more because it's as I play it, I realize it's a graceful charity. Um, yeah, two or three will bog down your hand and make it so you can't really play. So you don't want more than two, but having it on the field will guarantee you a free basic graceful charity at some point. Again, very good. Keep extending. And the first effect is kind of like almost irrelevant. I mean, you're gonna have enough life attack points to OTK them if they don't have anything on their board. But if they do have something on their board, at least you could send like a Silva or something to the grave, like a Grapha, and just get over anything they have. So again, very good card. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Those are the decks. Again, if you want to check out the Traptrix extra deck, just watch the last video. Thank you very much to my boy for watching, Steven, Joe, anyone else I've wasted my time watching. These are just some decks that I've been running myself and play testing, and yeah, they're pretty fun. Like I said, very fun. Uh, I I'm having a blast playing these, and I'm glad they're finally in Master Duel because I waited. They said that most people were like guessing August.